What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back once again with the Mariners post-game recap for their 15-2 win over the Kansas City Royals today. A much easier W than yesterday. I'm going to get into all of it. Before I get started, I'm sorry for this recap being up a bit late today. Saturday afternoon games are always tough for me. It's kind of a family day, and I work Saturdays as well. And then I got home a little bit ago, and I figured let's just wait till the end of the Twins-Rangers game so we could have a full standings update before I do the post-game recap. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much to all the new subs. Truly means a lot to me. Hit that like button as well. That just helps get the video out to more people. So thank you so much to everybody that's done that. Take a look at my channel page for memberships. Our first members-only live stream is happening Monday with a contest giveaway. Mariners win 15-2. They hit 7 home runs, which I believe is a safe T-Mobile Park record. So they smashed 7 home runs today to defeat the Kansas City Royals 15-2. Just this team, they just continue to roll. They finally kind of treat the Royals the way they maybe should have been treating the Royals this year in some of these games. I do think the Royals are a pretty feisty team that has played well, but this was nice to see. It was an easy win. It was clean. It was over by the third inning. So you could sit back, just kind of relax and enjoy this one. Like I said, 7 home runs. Josh Rojas with a home run. Teoscar Hernandez with 2, including a grand slam. The big dumper, Cal Raleigh had 1. Mike Ford had 1. Julio goes deep. And Cade Marlowe goes deep as well. So just an offensive onslaught today for the Seattle Mariners. Let's get into all of it. Let's start as I always do with the pitching. The offense is going to get the praise today. Listen, they scored 15 runs. They should get the praise today. But Logan Gilbert was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely at his best today. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned. It was I think Drew Waters homered. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. And I know it's going to go, like I said, Logan Start's going to go under the radar for 2 reasons. It's going to go under the radar because what the offense did, and people are going to dismiss it a little bit because the Royals' offense is not amazing. But have you watched the last 5 games the Mariners have played against the Royals this season? They have given the starting pitcher fits in every single one. The only 2 that were somewhat okay were Castillo and Kirby in Kansas City, and even they both gave up 4 earned runs in their starts. This has been a pesky lineup that the Mariners pitching staff has had a lot of issues with. Now, I do not think it's actually a bad Kansas City lineup. I don't think it's necessarily good, but it is a pesky, feisty lineup. With really good pitching, that lineup could compete. It could. So good to see a pitcher go out there and shut them down. That's a nice start from Logan. Like I said, against a team that's given the Mariners a lot of fits this year. He was dominant, and when he got the lead, didn't get too cute, kept going after him, and made it an easy win. So nice outing from Logan Gilbert. It's going to get overshadowed because of the offense, but Logan was absolutely fantastic. Only threw 83 pitches. He could have gone a little bit longer in this game if you really wanted to. I was okay with it. You had Luke Weaver and Trent Thornton both pitching inning. Not guys that are super high leverage. Luke Weaver for sure. Thornton's pitched in a couple decently high leverage spots, but it's not like you had to go to Brash, Munoz, Spy, or Topa. All those guys got the day off today. Luke Weaver pitched an inning. So did Trent Thornton. Thornton struck out the side. Weaver gave up a run. Guys, in a 13-1 game, it's really hard to break down relievers. They're just going to come in and throw fastballs and get the game over with. So I'm not going to even try to break down their outings. Truthfully, and this is dead serious as a fan, when it's 13-1, get me outs and get the game over with, whether that's on the losing side or the winning side. So in that aspect, they did their jobs. Let's get into the offense now, which was absolutely sensational. Let's start at the top. JP Crawford, 2 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. He just missed a home run. His double would have been the 8th home run of the game. Well, it would have made it 8 home runs. His home run actually would have been the 2nd if he did it. 3 runs scored. JP is back. I think in the Chicago series, he was kind of getting his bearings underneath him. Listen, he missed 9 games. He had a concussion. It's going to take a little bit to get your timing back. It's back. JP looks fantastic. Dylan Moore pinched hit, was 0 for 1. Julio 1 for 3 with the home run, 2 RBIs and a walk. Again, Julio just quietly on base 2 more times today. 22nd home run, continues to be red hot. How about this? JP's OPS this year. JP Crawford's 802. Julio is up to 807 on the season. So both those guys at the top of the order getting it done. Cade Marlowe came in for Julio defensively. He was 1-for-1 with a 2-run home run. His third of the year, and off a left-hander as well. So really good to see. As soon as I was kind of getting to the point where I'm like, yeah, Cade Marlowe might just be a fourth outfielder for this team. He goes and hits a home run off a lefty. So really good to see. I think Cade Marlowe's done a real nice job. I don't know if I see him as an everyday outfielder for this team, but he's certainly someone that's playing himself onto the 2024 Seattle Mariners. He's taking that role that I think we hoped would be Taylor Trammell's and running away with it. That's what we were kind of hoping we get from Trammell. We're getting it from Cade Marlowe. Gino was 0-for-2, but did have 2 walks. Caballero was 0-for-1, took over for Gino. The big dumper, Cal Raleigh, 2-for-3, a home run and 2 walks. So Cal on base 4 more times. His OPS is up to 787, and he belts his, 25th home run of the year, and he hit it right-handed off of a lefty. So that's good to see as well, because it'd be really great if you could get Cal hitting lefties. One thing I haven't talked about much, just because the team's been winning, they are really missing Tom Murphy. They are absolutely, that's probably one thing right now where I wouldn't say is holding them back because they've been so good, but it's one thing where just to lengthen that lineup a little bit. Brian O'Keefe, good for him. He actually had a big hit against Houston. Nothing against him, but man, it's going to feel good to get Tom Murphy back going. Sounds like Ryan Divish was saying he may resume some baseball activities next week. And there's also a chance Jared Kelenic is beginning a rehab assignment next week as well. So both really good pieces of news for the Seattle Mariners, but good to see Cal do some damage right-handed. Teoscar Hernandez, 2-for-5, 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 6 RBIs. He now has 21 home runs on the year. His OPS is up to 750. Man, did the Mariners make the right call not trading Teoscar Hernandez. I was kind of on the fence with it. I thought he was, at the time of the deadline, he had been so frustrating that I was almost like, listen, just move on from him and get a mid-level prospect and just hope it develops into something. But the Mariners took, the other approach, which I defended, I thought was fair. They looked at it and said, listen, we could trade him for something. We could get some random prospect that has a 10% chance to be something in the majors. Or we can hope that Teoscar Hernandez gets on a hot streak here. He's a streaky hitter. Let's hope that something in August, September clicks, the power comes alive, and Teo just goes on a streak and helps us win down the stretch. And I really do think that's what it came down to. I think they did have suitors for Teoscar. I really do. I just think they looked at it and said, kind of what I just said. They looked at it with the offers and said, yeah, there's some okay names we probably got offered to us, but what's better for this baseball club? And that's taking a shot that Teoscar Hernandez gets hot, and he is red hot. I don't know what the numbers are in August, but I know his OPS is well over 900 for the month. And my goodness, could it have not come at a better time for this team? Absolutely. I guess to an extent, maybe it isn't at the best time because everyone's hitting. So I guess it really wouldn't have mattered. I think they'd still be winning without it. But you guys know what I mean by that. Just everybody getting hot, essentially, it has been great. So really good for Teo and just great to see because, man, if that bat is coming alive, this lineup, again, is just lengthened so much. Ty was 0-for-4, hit by a pitch. Canzone 1-for-5. Mike Ford 2-for-4 with a walk and a home run, a 2-run home run. So Mike Ford quietly on base 3 times today. Listen, and I've been pretty clear on this with Mike Ford. I don't have a problem with Mike Ford in the roster. I've defended Mike Ford's roster spot because of this. He can occasionally run to a home run. He's got a decent eye at the plate. Should he be getting the full-time DH at-bats? No, he should not be. But against righties, getting 2 starts, 3 starts a week as a DH, yeah, it's really been, it's okay. He can run into a home run. Not a bad guy to have off the bench. I keep saying it, but in the 9th inning, you're down by a run. There's nobody on base. Send Mike Ford up there. Hope he runs into one. This is the guy who hit one off Felix Bautista this season. He can run into him and get him out of here. I think Mike Ford sticks. I know there's been some questions about his roster spot. I think they value that, and I think he does stick around. I don't think he's getting DFA'd or anything when Kelenic comes back. And he's been hot. He's swinging a good bat. Granted, a good matchup, I think, for him against Jordan Lyles. I'll get into that a little bit. Um, but yeah, no, just good to see. I think if Tom Murphy were healthy, he probably wouldn't be having as many at bats. I think Murphy would be catching some of these and Cal DHing. But while he's in there, doing a good job. And then Josh Rojas, 2 for 5, a solo home run and a single and an RBI. Rojas, red hot. He is, I mean, again, just on a tear since coming over, just absolutely on a tear. I said, I think you guys are going to like Josh Rojas when they made that deal. This is a guy that's been hurt this year. It was hard to judge him based on his numbers. The last 2 years, he has been a above average major league hitter. He has been. Do I think he's going to be Marcus Semien at second base? Of course not. Do I think right now he's playing a little over his head? I do. But he is a solid player. And my goodness, talk about an upgrade over Colton Wong. I mean, that alone, it just, I don't know if it's being talked about enough. What a big upgrade they made at second base at the trade deadline. So Rojas continues to be fantastic. Not much to say. I mean, the Mariners pound out 7 home runs here. They absolutely demolished the Royals pitching. They pound Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles is awful. He is so bad. His ERA is 6.51, and my gosh, his FIP is not much worse. Like, it's not like he's been super unlucky. He has been legitimately bad. Coar was bad, gave up 4 runs, 3 walks in 2 innings. Davidson was bad. I mean, honestly, Matt Duffy came in and pitched the 9th. To some extent, he looked like he had the best stuff. I mean, my gosh, it was that rough for the Royals. And, we want to talk about why are the Royals so bad. We see how pesky this lineup is. It's the pitching. The pitching is atrocious. If they can get, Reagan's looks good. If Brady Singer can kind of get it together and they can make a couple shrewd moves for pitchers in the offseason, I actually don't think it's a team that's too far away. The bullpen's bad, but, you can find guys. There's Justin Topas, Gabe Spires. They had Gabe Spire. Guys like that are out there that you can find. So I actually don't think it's a team that's too far away. Got to remember, too, for the Royals, they're also without Vinny Pasquantino, who's a good hitter. Nick Prado is a good prospect. So I actually don't think it's a team that is super far away from competing. What else did I want to get into here? Let's take a look at the standings. Yesterday, the Mariners got all the help in the world from everybody else. Today, they got none. In fact, every single game yesterday went for them. Every single one today went, I'm not going to say it went against them because the Mariners won. And that's the most important thing. The Seattle Mariners won a baseball game. Yeah, you'd love for other teams to lose, but they're all good baseball teams. Toronto, Boston, Tampa Bay, Houston, Texas, whoever else you want to throw in there. Guys, those are good baseball teams. They're going to win a lot of baseball games. The Mariners, if we want to win the division, which that's the goal, they're 73-56. The goal is the AL West. Mariners got to play good ball down the stretch. We have 33 games left. They might have to go 21-12, right? The rest of the way. That's really good baseball. I'm confident they can do it. I believe in them. But these other teams ain't going to roll over and die. So don't get discouraged by other teams winning in the race. They're going to. They're good baseball teams. You ain't chasing Oakland. You know what I mean? You're not chasing those type teams. You're chasing, or you're not, right now, you're actually not really chasing anybody, but the teams on your tail and whatnot are really good baseball teams. So let's take a look real quick at the standings. Like I said, every team won today. Toronto, Tampa, Houston, Texas broke their 8-game losing streak. So literally every other team that you would root against to lose in this race for the Mariners won. Mariners remain tied with Texas. Again, I think Texas technically is the tiebreaker right now, but you're dead even. You still have 7 games left with Texas. It's going to come down to those 7 games. Houston won. They're a game back. Now, in terms of just with the Mariners, they're technically 2 because the Mariners do have the tiebreaker over Texas. But if it gets into a 3-way tie, I think someone pointed out in the chat, I think Seattle has the tiebreaker. Or no, Texas does. I don't remember how it worked out, to be honest, how it all worked out, who had the tiebreaker. But listen, the AL West is going to be crazy down the stretch. It's going to change. It's going to change hands 4 or 5 times. Houston will probably sneak back out in front at some point. Texas will. Seattle will. It's going to come down to those head-to-head matchups and what happens. Most important thing for the Mariners is stay on the winning ways. Let's head to the wild card just to make sure, just to take a look at it. Yeah, like I said, everybody won. Mariners are even with Texas. They're 5 back of Tampa for the first wild card, and they are 2.5 clear of Toronto, which is technically 3.5 because they have the tiebreaker. So nothing really from yesterday has changed. Listen, the Mariners taking advantage right now of a baseball team that's not very good in Kansas City. But guess what? Houston's got to play Kansas City. They've gotten to play Kansas City. Texas has gotten to play Kansas City. You play who's on your schedule. You play who's there. Kansas City's been feisty. All 5 games before this against them have been nail biters that you've had to have saves to lock down, or you've blown a save in those games. They've come down to the wire. Today you got them pretty good. You busted out the whooping stick. Talked about it yesterday. It was a pretty significant pitching mismatch with Gilbert against Jordan Lyles. Definitely a game you expect the Mariners to win. Yesterday, to me, was the game that I was a little bit unsure of, because while Mariners are a better team than the Royals, it was the one game where the pitching matchup wasn't just completely in favor of Seattle. It was somewhat of a maybe evener matchup with Singer versus Miller. Now the Mariners lineup and everything is better, and their bullpen is better, and the Mariners still should have been favored, and they were. But this game today should have been and was a total mismatch with Logan Gilbert versus Jordan Lyles, and then factoring in everything else as well. And the Mariners took care of business. Listen, anytime you score 15 runs, you're doing something right. Anytime you pound out 7 home runs, you're doing something right. This team is just, they're living well right now. Everything is going right for this team, and they remain tied for first place. Like I said, don't get discouraged about other teams winning. Those teams are going to win games. They're good teams. Guess what? The Mariners are a good team. They're going to win a lot of baseball games down the stretch as well. So just got to keep it going. Tomorrow, we have got Luis Castillo on the mound going for the sweep against Marsh. It is Alec Marsh. Is this a bullpen start for him, or is Marsh an actual starting pitcher? Let's see. I don't see his game logs. There we go. It looks like he's kind of going 4-5, 5 2/3 innings stuff. Came as bullpen, so he's been going deeper into games here. So again, a matchup that favors the Mariners. It should. They have Luis Castillo on the mound. That should absolutely be favoring the Seattle Mariners out. So hopefully they can finish off the sweep, keep this going. I mean, it feels good right now. This team is rolling. Today was a fun one. Today was a really, really fun win for this ball club. Stress-free, and the offense continues to be just absolutely scorched earth since July. And now the season numbers for this offense are actually coming out all roses. Guys, I'm going to say right now, this team, the way it's playing, can compete for a World Series. They absolutely can. Jay, don't jinx it. I'm not a jinx guy. I don't believe in it. If I had that much control over this team, then they've got other issues. This team right now, they went from middling to, hey, they're sneaking in. Maybe they can be a wild card, be a playoff team, and, hey, get in. This team right now absolutely can compete and win the World Series. I would put them up against anybody in the American League. The only team in baseball that I'd kind of be like, is maybe Atlanta. But you know what? If you play Atlanta, you're in the dang World Series at that point anyways, so go win it. You know what I mean? So I don't really care too much about how they match up with Atlanta. I'll worry about that in the World Series if it comes to it. In the AL, I will absolutely match them against anybody. I think they can go toe-to-toe with Baltimore in their pitching. And very unfortunate, but Felix Bautista with the injury possibly to his shoulder, and I hope he's okay, but that could be a huge blow for Baltimore that really relies on that back end of the bullpen. The Rangers pitching has dropped off a little bit. They're no longer running a WRC plus of 400 with runners in scoring position. It's a good baseball team. I'm not saying the Mariners are guaranteed to beat any of these teams. They're not, but I will put them toe-to-toe with them. We've seen them go toe-to-toe with Houston. They can do it. They can do it with Baltimore. They played Baltimore even this season. They really did. In fact, they outscored them. We haven't seen them play great against Texas, but they can absolutely do it. I'll put them up against Tampa. I'll put them up against Minnesota. I will absolutely do it. Are they guaranteed to do it? No, they got to go out and get that. They got to go out and earn that. But I will absolutely do it right now. 100%. I'm not shying away from that take at all. I 100% believe that this team right now, I'll say it, I think they're the best team in the American League. I really do right now. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that. Baltimore probably has a claim to it, and Texas and Houston can still fight it. Not at all saying those teams aren't capable, but the way the Mariners are playing, I'll put them up against anybody. So remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow for the Mariners postgame, hopefully talking about a sweep. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend and their Saturday night. Take care, everybody. And as always, go first place, Seattle Mariners. Peace.